Welcome to the Sharpshooting Special Edition podcast. We are giving our live reactions to Elimination Chamber, which wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. I must say they had some pretty cool things. Although I will say some of the endings were kind of for me, but overall I guess it was decent. Pete, say what's up to people.
Hey, what's going on, guys? This is our first, not first, but we haven't been after a pay-per-view in a while, so glad to get that back underway. And yeah, let's dice it up. Let's talk Elimination Chamber review.
Yeah. So how should we start this?
I think we should start by saying, obviously we could start with the matchups, but I just want to talk kickoff show because there were, besides I came a bit late into the kickoff show, thank God, because when I turned on the TV, it was, I think it was Zack Ryder versus Stardust.
Oh, so there was a match. I didn't show up until late either. Like I didn't. There was that match. There was a match. Wow.
Yeah, and Stardust won that match. Thank God, because it would have been something if Zack Ryder picked up the win over Stardust. I'd really show where.
You wouldn't want to woo.
But yeah, that happened, and then after that, you had Miz TV with Daniel Bryan. Guess they had to get Daniel Bryan in some way, and for some reason, the Miz just doesn't want to. He doesn't want to leave the WWE, but kickoff shows are always annoying, boring, just time killer. Really.
Yeah, they've had a couple of decent matches on kickoff shows before, but yeah, for the most part, they suck.
But the Elimination Chamber, like you said, the overall pay-per-view is pretty good, and it has built some forward, especially in some areas. The actual event, some was predictable, some was unexpected. That's the cool thing about it. That some really high moments and some really low moments. But we'll start. We'll actually just dive in and just start discussing. And like they normally do at Elimination Chamber pay-per-views, that I normally forget is that they have a chamber early, and then they have a chamber later on. And I remember that back when the World Heavyweight Championship and the WWE Championship used to be up for grabs in the Elimination Chamber, they'd always start with the World Heavyweight Championship one to kick off an Elimination Chamber, and then later in the night they'd do the WWE Championship. So similar thing here, but the first Elimination Chamber match they went with was the Tag Team Championship Elimination Chamber, the first of its kind. So what did you make of it? Did you enjoy the tag team aspect of it?
It had some really good stuff in it. I guess overall I did, but this is kind of an example, at least, where I'm not sure. Maybe it wasn't that the ending was flat, but the reaction to the ending didn't. It made the moment seem less. I don't know. It wasn't as big as it could have been, because it felt like once Cesaro and Kid got eliminated, the crowd kind of left. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. The fact that, like, I just want to mention, there was two things I noted before we actually get down to breaking down how the actual match played out. First, I found it pretty interesting when the Los Matadores came out that El Torito was allowed to sit on top of the pod. I thought that was interesting. I knew they had to get him involved in some aspect just because that's the only appeal the Los Matadores really have, is having the little bull.
Which is pretty damn sad if you ask me.
Yeah, that's true. And also, I thought it was a bit strange. Obviously, we missed a chunk of the pre-show, so it was news to me when they said all three members of the New Day would be able to compete at the one time. And that's really when I was like, okay, the New Day are retaining. Like the only thing that put a question mark over the New Day retaining was the fact that there would only be two of them. Like there's two of everyone else. But the minute they said all three of them are in, it's just like, okay, well, they're starting in the pod. They're already in a good position, and they got three members. So
Yeah.
What were you gonna say?
No, it's just like, yeah, the disadvantage that they gave them. It see, for me, this is the thing. It's one thing when it's kind of a surprise type of thing, but they threw it out way too early. Like it was done, and you pretty much knew, okay, this is why they're going to win. They didn't give it any. It didn't have any build. No build whatsoever.
Yeah. So I actually with both elimination chambers, I noted basically the order they came in. So obviously in the tag team match, the two teams that kicked off were the two NXT teams that had come up to the main roster, being the Ascension and the Lucha Dragons. And to me, Lucha Dragons are probably one of the more impressive tag teams. I mean, some of the stuff they were doing was absolutely ridiculous, including Kalisto's
with the tag team that includes Sin Cara. Really? I didn't think I'd ever hear you give Sin Cara props.
All right, so it wasn't him that was. He did his thing. He did his thing. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna take it away from him. But Kalisto does things I've seen. He's so quick, just lightning speed. And to the credit, the Ascension did their thing as well. They made the Ascension look a bit more formidable. They made them look a bit more dominant. It's about time. The Ascension seemed to have been a walkover team for a while.
Yeah,
this is a good. You got them
of fucking tag teams.
But yeah, I thought that was a good start, like a good starting point. The Ascension versus the Lucha Dragons. It started well. There was some obvious like odd moments, like when the New Day Lisa's leg in the chamber. That was annoying because he was up there for ages and he got pulled down like 3 times. It's like after the first time you get your leg out, you think you just get away. But
right.
Following that, the first tag team out of the chamber was Cesaro and Kid, and again they just seem to be getting better and better each week. They work so well together. I don't know what it is about Tyson Kidd and tag teams, but he always. Whenever he's in the tag team, it's always like a solid tag team.
Yeah, if he had, I don't know, maybe if he had better mic skills, he'd be able to get over alone. But yeah, put him in a tag team with somebody. And it's funny too, because it's kind of the same thing with Cesaro. Cesaro's not the best on the mic either. But in the ring, both of them are great. And they finally been put in a situation that worked for them, where you could see how great both of them are in the ring, and they can get over a bit because of that. I think that's really cool, but I fear for the day that they decide to split them up.
Yeah, definitely. Also, I think good to note is Siren Kid. They, as always, they did look impressive, but they weren't the main attraction. Like, it was good because at first I was very skeptical of the way the teams that were in the chamber. Like, I thought maybe take out the Los Matadores and throw in Luke Harper and Eric Rowan.
Yeah,
but I thought with everything that was going on, just everyone like worked well. And after Cesaro and Kid coming out, the next team to follow was Los Matadores. And like I said, the main attraction of them is definitely El Torito, because the minute they were allowed to enter, he jumped off the top of the pod. And I think he took out Cesaro. I think that was the first move. But El Torito definitely added some fun to the mix. I thought it would have been funny. Do you think if they pinned El Torito, it would have counted?
That's a good question. No, I don't think it would have counted. If he was in the pod, then maybe he would have been live. I really feel like they should have said that Xavier Woods was actually a part of the match right in the beginning. That way, you could have been caught kind of by surprise when they used the 3-man pin.
Yeah,
Torito being in it would have. Yeah, I don't know. I think it worked more that he was on the outside doing this thing.
no, fair point. Fair point. After the Los Matadores, it was followed by the primetime players, which again they're building some serious heat now. I'm pretty glad that they put them back together because Titus O'Neil was never going to do anything on his own, and same with Darren Young. I doubt very much if Darren Young would still be in the company if he had to stay on his own.
Yeah, they tried that with the Nexus.
I think it's best for them to stick as a tag team, and they're a pretty solid tag team. Like, who's going to deny that? They're one of the better, not the best, but they're one of the better tag teams that are going around.
Yeah, I actually appreciate when they could realize that, hey, being a tag team is what's better for you. The singles thing, maybe later, but let's chill. You know?
But let's talk first. I'm pretty sure there were eliminations before the New Day came in, and two of them came pretty close together, and they were both by the Ascension. The Ascension eliminated two teams with the Fallen Man. First up was the Los Matadores. I think everyone expected them to be the first team eliminated. I think that was pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Followed by the Lucha Dragons. No, not really surprised there. Again, didn't think they were going to win the belt. So, again, it made the Ascension look pretty dominant, having them be the ones that are taking out tag teams. But basically, almost after that, you had the primetime players take out the Ascension, and I think it really came down to the three we all expected it to come down to. Cesaro and Kid were obviously going to be towards that final picture. You knew the New Day would be right till the end, and the primetime players have been the one building all the heat on Raw, taking out all the tag teams and stuff. They've basically been the tag team that looks more dominant.
Yeah.
And this is where this is. Let's just say this was probably one of the more surprising moments, which was I think it was Darren Young was pinning Cesaro while Kid was pinning Titus O'Neil, but Kid pinning Titus O'Neil was like a second behind Darren Young pinning Cesaro, and Darren Young picked up the pinfall. Yeah. I gotta admit, I was actually shocked. It was kind of like one of those moments like where just everything stopped.
It was clever. And I guess now this is what I'm wondering. By doing that, is this going to build something between them? You know, is this WWE's exit strategy to take Tyson and Cesaro and just mess around with the primetime players for a while the New Day finds something else?
Quite possibly.
And if they can find someone else, who would be their title? They defend the people they defend the title against.
Yeah. I think it's safe to say that there's not really much in terms of other tag teams that could potentially come towards the New Day, with the exception of Eric Rowan and Luke Harper, who should soon enough make a push towards the top of that tag team division. But yeah, I think it was I will say this. I'll give it credit where it's due. The primetime players were probably the only other tag team besides the New Day that I feel could have pinned Cesaro and Kid and not made them look weak. Or not it's not stupid or anything or unbelievable.
Yeah.
It was just kind of just shocking because I really didn't expect it at the time. But that left at the end you had the New Day versus the primetime players, really, and There was a weird moment where Titus O'Neil's head was like stuck in between, like they put his head outside the cage. When I first saw that, I literally thought his head was stuck. Genuinely worried.
Yeah, I mean, overall the match was cool. It was a cool thing. We got a build on a different tag team, which is good. I think this match was kind of good for the tag team division, period. Hopefully, and I'm keeping like my fingers crossed, saying my prayers and all that good stuff. Hopefully, the end result of this first ever tag team elimination chamber is that now everybody's going to want to come after the New Day. So the New Day is going to have to constantly defend their title on Raw, gets heat there, come to a pay-per-view, hey, New Day has to fight so-and-so. You know what I mean? Every pay-per-view, instead of just like treating tag team like it really doesn't matter. Like it has no place.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And I think now it's gave a whole new perspective on how many teams are actually pushing for that belt. And you can really see what teams are closer than others. But I think a key note in this match was the fact that the Ascension eliminated 2 teams, the Primetime Players eliminated 2 teams, and then you had the New Day take out 1. I gotta say, there was some impressive people in the Elimination Chamber, but I found Titus O'Neil to be like almost really impressive towards the end, especially when he was taking out like the entire freaking New Day. He was throwing. I've never seen someone throw Big E around like that, like a rag doll, just throwing him everywhere. But at the end, I mean, the numbers game really, it's the same. It's always been the same in WWE when it comes to the numbers game. You had Xavier Woods like holding him, and then I think Kofi hit him with the what was it? I think. Oh no. It was like Titus O'Neil was holding Xavier Woods. Then Big E knocked the back of his leg, so he went down to one knee.
Right.
And then Kofi hit him with the Trouble in Paradise. And
then group hug.
And they all stopped, so there was no kick out. But the New Day continued their reign. I think we said in the in our Elimination Chamber predictions that the New Day would retain.
Yeah, so I totally figured they were going to come out shining. And I guess I was right in saying that Xavier Woods was going to be involved somehow. So WWE eliminated the guessing game to that aspect by having them all 3 be live for the match. So,
yeah. All right. So overall, I would like to see more of these pay-per-views. Not these pay-per-views. Definitely, I want to see more Elimination Chambers. But I would like to see also. I wouldn't mind seeing more tag team Elimination Chambers. I thought the concept was really creative, and it definitely. We now know it works, so we don't have to guess or second guess it anymore. Moving right along with the review, we go into the second match of the night, which was the Divas Triple Threat. And Nikki Bella versus Paige versus Naomi. And I mean, there's another 2 things I picked up here just before the match started, and it was the fact that we've known Nikki has held the belt since Survivor Series last year, but I didn't really take that into numbers. She is currently at 188 days going into this.
Shit, so how far is she from from AJ's reign?
I'm not sure exactly. But that was quite a stat. So possibly they could be going that route to have her.
Oh my God, no! Don't say it, please. No, I don't know.
To beat the reign, but also another thing was that the Authority banned the 2 divas at ringside, being Brie Bella and Tamina, which I think hinders more Naomi. It really affected Naomi more than it affects Brie Bella, because Naomi being a heel, someone like Tamina at ringside would have been a nice. I think it would have been better for the whole thing just to have her do that, to have her take ringside and just kind of affect it. But going back to that, Nikki Bella is at 188 days, and AJ Lee's reign was 295 days. So, with that said, yeah,
Right
Nikki
got interrupted.
What was that?
Go ahead, Pete. No, I got distracted by something. Go ahead, Pete.
Yeah. So AJ Lee's reign is at 188 days. AJ Lee's longest reign was 295 days. Nikki Bella at 188 right now. So closing in a sense. So let's discuss this match. And really, I thought it was all right. I thought it wasn't great. It wasn't as good as I hoped it would be, but it was still pretty solid. It was still a pretty solid match. I did watch it, and I didn't pick up my phone, so you always know that's a plus.
Nah, did I pick up my phone? No, I didn't pick up my phone. I just picked up my phone right now, which distracts me. Fly Modem says, sorry he couldn't be there, but he'll catch us on the next podcast, so that's cool. Miss you, Flying Modem. Wish you were here, because I know me and you were gonna get into it about John Cena later. But anyway, continue, Pete.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so again, Naomi was impressive. I thought she was actually pretty dominant in this match. Like, some of the moves she was doing, she was just actually just going at it. It was impressive. Paige was a bit on the quieter side in terms of divas in this match.
Yeah, she didn't really have that much build for her.
Yeah, very quiet, very quiet. And then you had Nikki, who seems to always find a way. I think that's what we take from it.
Yeah, I guess they're. It's funny because someone tweeted this to me. I believe it was for Monday Night Raw or somewhere. They tweeted or they left it in a video. She is becoming the female version of her boo, John Cena. It's like she just finds a way to ends up on top, even after she gets her ass whooped. I mean, Naomi definitely brought it to her. And Paige, when Paige actually got in, she, took it to Nikki as well. I mean, pretty much Nikki for a couple of minutes was out of the match, and it was just the Paige Naomi thing,
Yeah, no, definitely. And it wasn't until the very end, a majority of the match, Nikki Bella was kind of out of the ring, let alone out of the match. But there was a moment, I think the real turning point in this match was when Naomi did some crazy move. It looked like she actually injured Paige, and Paige was outside the ring. And then, Nikki ended up picking up the win. I'm pretty sure she hit the rack attack. I'm pretty sure that's how it finished. But no, there was a pretty cool moment where Nikki had Paige up for the rack attack and Naomi hit her with the rear view. As much as we hate the rear view, I think it worked in that moment. Like, having her hit a finisher. It could have been any finisher regardless, but with what she had, it worked well.
Like, I don't mind if it was something like the setup for another moment. I would accept it for that, but just for a finisher, no. I mean, don't get me wrong, love her ass, but no. Sorry.
So at the end, obviously, you had Nikki Bella retaining her Divas Championship. 188 days, continues strong. So she'll just keep pushing. I can't see her losing it at Money in the Bank. I think she might go SummerSlam. If not SummerSlam, she may even go to next year's WrestleMania, which would be insane if she's holding it for that long. But you had Brie Bella come out after the match and they celebrated all that. But overall, I'm actually result wise, I thought it would have been better for Naomi to win this belt. But regardless, I think they made the right choice having a triple threat for the Divas Championship. Hopefully, this means Nikki's going to start defending her title more, whether it be single or another triple threat, who knows. As long as it's not tag team matches instead of Divas Championship matches at pay-per-views, then we'll be on the right track.
I'm just curious, like, who does she drop to? She's gonna have to drop eventually. So who is she dropped to?
To me, I still really feel like it has to be Naomi. Even the only other thing I can think of is Charlotte comes up and Charlotte wins the belt, similar to how Paige did it.
Yeah,
but it'll be a very interesting moment. The when Nikki drops it, I think right now, it's kind of like we're expecting her to drop it, and she's not dropping it. So when she actually does drop it, it'll be very surprising to see who's on the receiving end of winning that belt.
Yeah.
But yeah. It was a solid start to the Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it's funny because someone tweeted to me that the Divas match was better than another match later down the line. By the way, I must say, shout outs to you, BMP, if you're listening, because you actually had a pretty solid night of predictions. But we'll get to that later.
Yeah, definitely. And for those wondering if you didn't catch our predictions, we both said that Naomi would win the belt, and we're definitely wrong there.
Yeah, so definitely we're wrong. What, 1-1 right now?
Yeah, 1-1. Okay. But that's not bad, I guess.
Nah, we're bad.
Match. So moving straight on, match 3. So this is the halfway point already. We're only 6. It's pretty disappointing. Usually it's about 8. But we can go with 6. We can work with 6.
Yeah, considering the Elimination Chamber had to take up a lot of time. Yeah.
Yeah. Third match, John Cena versus Kevin Owens. Arguably, probably the match of the night. Definitely stole the show. Definitely. Like, for me, Kevin Owens is incredible. And he wrestles every week. He's one of the top in the WWE. He steps up on NXT, and now he's made a name for himself in the WWE. With a performance like that, it's though we said in I remember you saying in the pre-show that you had a feeling he would win at Elimination Chamber and then have to verse John Cena again, maybe for the belt, and then John Cena wins. But yeah, as far as this match alone went, I thought Kevin Owens did perfect. Some of his moves were just incredible.
Yeah, he really showed. See, he showed the Kevin Owens that I've known about and have been excited about for years. He showed glimpses of the old indie day Kevin Owens, which was really, really cool. Like, trust me, people. Even what you just saw isn't like the height of what Kevin Owens could do. That's the thing that I find even more satisfying, was that he showed you like a lot that got you excited. But if WWE were to pull the reins off a little bit more on some wrestlers, it would have been just ridiculous for him.
Yeah, no, that's so true. And Kevin Owens he took his shot, his first match in the WWE, took it by the horns, because he left nothing in that ring, to be honest. I thought he just came out. He impressed everyone. Everyone watching has to be impressed with what they saw. And I think WWE did well with the booking in this match, having Kevin Owens go over on John Cena and a clean win at that. I thought that is perfect because of the high that Kevin Owens is on right now, being the top heel. He took out Sami Zayn on NXT. He's massive over there. He's got confrontation with Samoa Joe. Comes to the WWE, takes out John Cena. It just puts him on such a platform, which is going to make his elevation to the WWE when he moves from NXT permanently to the WWE. That move is just going to platform him to the next level. He could go championship just from NXT up, which is incredible because I don't think we'll see a superstar like that. You don't see many superstars, to be honest, going from NXT straight into the main picture.
No, yeah. I'm hoping this is like a move by Hunter to say, "Hey, Vince, look, if we bring some of these guys up in the like intermediate time, we can kind of build a lot of matches that people want." Like, remember me saying how I kind of wish they would have done this like a lot sooner. And I tweeted this too, how like when they did the whole we have a surprise entrance or whatever they called it for the Intercontinental Elimination Chamber. My first thought when I was telling people was like they need to bring an NXT person in. You know, like why can't you bring somebody like surprise us? Have Finn Balor come in there or something like that. You know?
I understand that. That definitely makes sense. I know you even, when we were talking, you said Kevin Owens would be pretty cool.
Yeah, if they would have had Kevin Owens like come out after destroying John Cena, that would have been awesome. That would have been incredible.
Yeah, so all in all, Kevin Owens picks up the win against John Cena. And from what I read after the match, I seen a piece that said at Money in the Bank, they're going to have Kevin Owens versus John Cena again, which seems to be a trend for Cena. He keeps versing the same people at pay-per-view after pay-per-view.
Yeah, because, you know, you can get over on him, but for so long, he'll let you have your one moment, but he ain't going to let you sustain it. I mean, I'm just glad that we got to see a really good match, and I'm glad that we got to see it end with a really good promo by, you know, Kevin Owens, because man, that dude knows how to build heat on himself. He just killed it. I loved how he ended it when he just went on and was like, first of all, he pokes at Cena with the "let me give you advice from a 15-year veteran." So he throws that line back into Cena's face yet again. Then, you know, he talks shit and he ends it all with "the champ is here." That was amazing. I loved it. It's fucking beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yeah, another cool moment in that match, I think, had to be when Kevin Owens did the attitude adjustment. I thought also when he went for the 5-knuckle shuffle and you had Cena reverse it.
Yeah, the fact that he was trying to hit Cena with his own move, the fact that he hit Cena with his finisher was like, wow. It was crazy. That match was so well done.
Yeah, all in all, that was the match of the night in my eyes. For me, that stole the show. That was a match that just impressed me greatly. So, at this point, We are 1-2. I'm afraid. I think we both went for John Cena.
Yeah, I'm
prediction.
extremely happy to have been wrong on that one. I am ecstatic to be wrong on that.
Yeah, all in all, that one. Yeah. So, moving on the card, to be honest, and it's because the match had really no backbone, and that was Bo Dallas versus Neville. And I think my reaction summed it up perfectly when about the chamber match, and then suddenly Bo Dallas's movie played. Just,
Do we really need to even talk long about this match?
not really. The only thing I want to state, it's not even relevant to this match, to be honest, is that I still can't believe that Bo Dallas is Bray Wyatt's brother.
Yeah,
still trips me out.
I would say to his credit, Bo Dallas tried. He tried to like build something to it with his shenanigans, but problem is the Bo Dallas gimmick. It's just not really gotten over with people. I know he's supposed to be sort of what they've been able to do with the New Day, which is this, heel who doesn't know or doesn't realize he's a heel. He thinks he's a hero, but in reality, he's a heel. It hasn't transferred as well as it's done with the New Day finally. You know what I mean?
No, that's so true. I have to agree. Neville is in not Neville, but need of maybe a new gimmick or a new approach to things, because this match, he did try and build it, but there's no real heat between the two, despite the fact that Neville beat Bo Dallas for the NXT Championship before going on the longest reigning NXT Championship reign. There's nothing that really. This match didn't need to be at the pay-per-view. That's just the only way I can put it. It was a way of saying to the fans, here's Neville, but he's not going to be in our Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because the match kind of turned into a bathroom break for some people. It had some good stuff in it, but I don't think most people were interested in seeing it. It's like it was a Monday Night Raw SmackDown type matchup on a pay-per-view.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. The thing with wrestling, and I state this because I've been watching wrestling for years. The reason we watch wrestling is the entertainment side. Like we love going through a story. Like it doesn't matter. You can have. It's just the story, being in the moment. You could have someone turn from face to heel, and you don't mind as long as they're in good stories. This just had nothing that really interests you. So the only reason I was really paying attention to the match, if I was at for an extended period of time, was just to see what Neville was going to do in ring because of his in-ring ability.
Yeah.
Overall, at the end, Neville won, and I think we both predicted that. That was a pretty easy prediction.
Yeah.
In terms of who was going to win, because it wouldn't have made sense for Bo Dallas to win.
Yeah, that would have been one shock surprise that I don't think any of us would have wanted to accept, to be quite honest.
That would have been a nightmare.
I mean, but good on you, Bo Dallas. You got onto a pay-per-view. But things that happen. Hey, in fact, you've been on a pay-per-view more recent than your brother now. Good on you.
Definitely. Moving right along to match 5. Let's see, the Intercontinental Championship Elimination Chamber. Obviously, we all know the story behind this one, being that Daniel Bryan's injured. He relinquished the title. Unfortunately, it seems every time Daniel Bryan wins the title, he gets injured. But there was the surprise entrant for this one, and I thought they were gonna. I didn't think the first person that comes out would be the surprise entrance. I thought they'd wait maybe a little bit and he'd be the first to start. And I was tossing up between Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt. But who came out did not expect it.
Yeah, no, I don't think anybody really was looking to see Mark Henry show up. When's the last time Mark Henry's been in the ring, by the way?
Oh, it's been a while. He's been out for a while. I can't off the top of my head. I really couldn't tell you. Like, I can't remember seeing Mark Henry. Jesus. I knew that Rusev wasn't going to fight, though, because I'd read it earlier that Rusev was probably going to withdraw through injury. But, yeah, that's overall, let's just say he was quite a surprise. He was quite a surprise. Mark Henry, I like Mark Henry. I do. I wish in his time he had more championship reigns than what he did.
Yeah.
He only had the one. But let's talk people that came in. Obviously, your six made up of King Barrett, Ziggler, R-Truth, Mark Henry, Ryback, and Sheamus. The first two to start it off, King Barrett versus Ziggler. We're kind of hoping it was R-Truth starting, but yeah, unfortunately he got into a pod.
And again, I don't know. I guess we were blessed with not having to wait in anticipation for his entrance. So I have a feeling, had he have been one of the last two, they would have let him rap. And I don't think any of us wants to hear that song again. It had its time. He doesn't need to do the whole entire song ever again. Please, WWE, I appreciate it if you would put that in this contract that you are now contractually through with singing your theme song. You don't have to do it anymore. Please don't. Nobody wants to hear it.
It's fine, don't it?
Exactly.
But yeah, bad news, Barrett Ziggler. Not a bad start. I think they've had a bit of history, so it works well. They know each other in the ring.
Yeah.
It wasn't the dream start, but I guess we'll take what we can get, especially with the superstars that were in there. Not exactly the most impressive nor entertaining of the bunch. But luckily for us, too, R-Truth being in a pod, he wasn't in it for long. He was the first to come out of the pod. So thank you, WWE, for doing that right.
He was the first. Wow. Yeah, he was.
And
I didn't feel like he was
R-Truth.
He was in there for a minute.
Yeah, no, he was on the ground for a lot of it. He came out first. King Barrett basically beat him up. After that, it was getting close to the next person to come out of the pod when I think King Barrett ended up throwing, I'm not sure if it was R-Truth or Dolph Ziggler, into Mark Henry's pod, and the protections, the screen ended up falling so Mark Henry could get out of his pod, which made that was kind of, I think it was purpose because it made it speed up a bit because the timer was at 1:50 when that happened. But instead of the timer restarting to 4 minutes and waiting for the next two superstars to come out, they just continued on with that timer to get the next person out. So I think that was what was meant to happen. So Mark Henry comes out, and Mark Henry, for some reason, for someone so big and just he gets dominated, and I don't know why. Like, he had his moments, obviously, but just for some reason, I can't understand it. But quickly touching on some of the eliminations, because this is after Ryback comes out, of course, being number 5. Sheamus was the last in the pod, and he played the whole "I'm stuck" sort of thing. Why aren't you opening it? But eliminations wise, to this point, you had King Barrett, who was basically bombarded by everyone. Everyone with the exception of Mark Henry got their hands on King Barrett before R-Truth finished him off. So R-Truth got his pinfall. I think we all predicted that in the in the predictions that he would score a pinfall.
The more I look at like this situation, the more I'm feeling like this is his farewell tour. I think WWE is giving R-Truth one last decent run before he rides off into the sunset, because he's been showing up in a lot of important moments on pay-per-views, and I just don't know where this push has come from. That is my only logic, that he is probably going to be retiring sometime soon.
Yeah, no, that could definitely make sense. I mean, it'd clear a lot of things up, obviously. But on that note, I guess we can say that Sheamus ended up coming in after that point, and it turned out that what did he try and pitch? It was sort of like he was the reason it wasn't opening. He had something there that was stopping the door. I think that was the way it went, and overall, yeah, eventually he came out, and at this point, okay, so once R-Truth was pinned by Ryback, I sat there and I said, okay, 3, 4, 5. I predicted who would get eliminated next. So I got 2 of the 3 right. Okay, so I said Mark Henry would get eliminated by Sheamus. What do you know? What do you know? Mark Henry gets bro kicked by Sheamus. Done. I said Dolph Ziggler eliminated. Sheamus eliminates Dolph Ziggler. Then, for the final one, I thought Sheamus would eliminate Ryback. They'd have Ryback have his moment where he looks like he's going to win. Sheamus hits with the bro kick, picks up the win, becomes a new Intercontinental Champion. But, to my surprise, they really let Ryback go over. Especially after the dominance that Sheamus has been showing. I mean, granted,
I still feel like had Rusev been there, Rusev and Lana would have had an angle to play, and Rusev would have ended up with the title. But he couldn't go, so now we have the big guy.
That's it. And yeah, I gotta say, Intercontinental Championship Chamber, in my opinion, pretty disappointing.
Yeah, it was probably honestly, even with the Bo Dallas Neville thing, part of me wants to say it's the weakest match, only because I feel like there was a lot that they could have built and done with it. I mean, hindsight is probably a better match overall, but I felt like they dropped an opportunity to make this, like, again, get a big moment like you got at WrestleMania with the ladder match for the Intercontinental title. You had another big moment to make this belt, like, just stand out even more. I really feel like if Sheamus would have won, it would have drew a lot of heat to the belt.
Yeah, no, that was a definite slipped opportunity. And I just want to state quickly, I'm sort of getting what you mean now by having R-Truth, maybe his last one. Definitely, I get that now because I just remembered he was in the ladder match at WrestleMania.
Right, it's like he's been competing for this Intercontinental title for a while now. Dare I say, perhaps he goes over and gets a title reign sometime soon?
He's 43. He's 43 right now. And he's a one-time United States Championship. He's been the United States Championship a champion once and tag team champion once with Kofi Kingston.
Yeah, R-Truth definitely has gotten opportunities he shouldn't have got by far. Well, I can't say he shouldn't have got. At one time, R-Truth was a really, really good wrestler that did a lot of great things.
I think he's like being 43. He's definitely winding down to the end of his career, and this could be the WWE's way of saying thank you for your service. Obviously, I don't think they'll give him a title reign due to just where the title is at the moment. I
Yeah,
just see him being in the bigger pictures for the remainder of this year before just parting ways. Which I guess when you look at it that way, I guess I can kind of deal with it for now. But I feel like he kind of took up a spot in that chamber that could have been given to, say, a Neville.
yeah, I totally agree. Totally agree. I
But
mean,
yeah,
it is what it is.
no, I just want to say this chamber, this was really a really weak elimination chamber, and at the end it got kind of corny after Ryback won. The chamber's gone up, and you had Daniel Bryan basically pushing the
Yeah,
crowd
they had to
over
get Daniel Bryan to come in and sell Ryback to the people. Like, come on, people, you gotta be
Well, I
down
mean,
with.
Ryback, granted, he's got a bit of his own. Like he's built a bit on his own. I don't know why.
Yeah, to be fair, he
The crowd.
definitely is. Yeah, he has some popularity. I agree. But I don't know. I don't know. I just like the match itself. It has some good moments. You know, I guess good on you WWE for throwing a swerve out there and giving Ryback a little title run. Um, my problem with Ryback being a champ though is that I don't see entertaining matches happen with him unless he like
Uh,
does something like he did to Kane when he like smashed the concession stand on him. It has to be something. On
I
that.
think it's going towards he's more than likely going to have a feud with Sheamus. So that's where the intercontinental picture will be at. So at least it kind of pushes King Barrett away. But yeah, it'd be very interesting to see how they proceed with the Intercontinental Championship, especially because you had Dolph Ziggler have to drop it. So we were just building some meaning back into the belt, and I hope that that's not all squandered with.
Yeah, but is Ryback the guy to bring that importance to the belt? That's another one of my issues. It's like, are we full? Will we really be that fully vested in the reign of the Ryback?
Well, we're gonna have to wait and see. They also noted that this is his first ever singles championship.
Yeah, exactly. And again, this is where I say shout out to BMP. He called that when he said Ryback is one of. Let me get this right because it's like Ryback and yeah, he's the only one who hasn't won a title. Who was in that ring? Everybody else at some point won something. Ryback was the only one who hadn't won anything.
Yeah, that works.
So, good Ryback,
Yeah,
I
when you
guess.
look at it that way, I think it does make sense. But I guess I'm just disappointed in the booking for that match, especially because they're trying to get those two belts to mean something again, and they just poorly booked an intercontinental match. I mean, there's so many other superstars that could have easily fit in that match and probably done better.
Yeah.
Uh, so all in all, probably that would be the most disappointing match because that was actually one of the matches I was looking more forward to as opposed to the tag team championship match. But uh, yeah, with that said, I think it's time to discuss
what everyone's probably come here to hear about. If you didn't, most people would have came to hear our opinions on the Kevin Owens John Cena match, but I think followed closely by our opinions on the main event, which was the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. We had Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins, and this match went for whew, 30 minutes plus. I would almost say 25, 30 minutes at least. It's quite a lengthy match.
Yeah. Um, and they deserve it. I mean, it was a great matchup. It was a really good matchup. We've seen it in Hell in a Cell. These dudes, they know how to put on a good show together. So even though I felt like the whole rush to giving Dean a shot didn't go as smoothly as it probably should have, I was hyped. I was ready to see Dean do the impossible and shock the world. Even though I felt like, ultimately the authority was going to rule, because isn't that what they always do? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, we've all been. I think nearly every WWE supporter has been really complaining about the amount of power that the authority have in affecting results in the WWE Championship matches.
Yeah, I totally agree. They're over their bounds with that. They really are.
And stating in this match, I thought they were kind of balanced to an extent. I didn't think they imposed as much in this match. They still imposed as expected. I mean, they're going to impose as long as Joey Mercury and Jamie Noble are at ringside. You know they're going to get involved some way, shape, or form. But I thought this
Yeah,
match really was well done because we knew and we predicted in the our predictions for this pay per view that Seth Rollins had to walk out of Elimination Chamber with the belt. He had to, like, because in the long run, everyone's just waiting for SummerSlam when Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar. That's been penciled in for ages. It's almost as penciled in as The Rock versus John Cena was when they confirmed it the Raw after WrestleMania. Like that match at SummerSlam is penciled in my eyes, and I think everyone will see that. And they had to find a way to do it without Dean Ambrose looking weak in a sense, because Dean Ambrose has had a few title runs now, and he's come out on the worst end. He lost clean to Cena for the United States Championship in the United States Championship Open. He lost at WrestleMania when he was the favorite to win that Intercontinental Championship after looking like the next Intercontinental Champion. And now he's in a WWE World Heavyweight Championship match one on one. He did lose the pay per view before at Payback in the Fatal 4 Way, but it wasn't him getting pinned, so I guess that works in his favor. But one on one now, surely the heat he has behind him, the crowd, he's the most over superstar right now, with the exception of Daniel Bryan. Uh, there was no way I thought Seth Rollins could get over him clean. No way.
yeah. Uh, I mean, they set up a really good dynamic because now you have the whole complaints of, "Hey, I got this," and I thought that was kind of a. At first, I was mad as hell at the finish of this match. The finish of this match, when they did the disqualification thing, I was about to get super pissed. Then I thought about it. It's like it actually fit in the frame of their philosophy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. Obviously, at the end, you had what was it? I think it was Seth Rollins. Dean Ambrose was on the top rope. He was going to jump onto Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins grabbed the referee. Um,
Yeah.
that was as expected. Seth Rollins being the heel, he had to do something dirty, in a sense. And after that, you had Dean Ambrose hit the dirty deeds, and this to me it was a bit weird because
Okay, so obviously the referee's down. Dean Ambrose hit his finisher. He's got the leg up. You've seen this plenty of times in the WWE. Plenty of times.
And what usually happens is that they're holding the pin for a while and they should have won the match. A new referee comes in, 1, 2, kick out. But this one was 1, expecting the kick out, and it hit the 3. Suddenly, there's the pop up saying Dean Ambrose, new WWE World Heavyweight Championship. When all of a sudden, the first referee, the one that was knocked down by Dean Ambrose after Seth Rollins put him in the way, turns around and says that Seth Rollins is basically disqualified. Well, was disqualified for pushing the referee in the way. So that was kind of, in a sense, it was kind of irritating. Because, I mean, the promo to this match got me really built up. And then I was like, I actually wouldn't mind seeing Dean Ambrose as champion. But all in all, I guess best outcome I can say, it makes Dean Ambrose look strong. He felt he won the match. We all felt he won the match, and he's got the belt. He was getting, well, to be fair, I've totally skipped the moment when he was told he didn't want to give the belt back. So then the Authority came, they were beating him down. And then Roman Reigns comes and just, I called it with Roman Reigns that they were all looking at the ramp for him to come down, and then I'm like, they were all looking where the fans are in the seating area, and I said he'd come down the ramp because you saw Seth Rollins backing up to like run away.
Yeah. Here's the thing. So you build heat for Dean. Cool. You know, Dean, like you said, he stays strong. You put a very interesting and entertaining angle with him having the belt, and now Seth has to chase the hell out of him. So good setup for another rematch. Awesome. Here's my problem with the whole thing is Roman Reigns coming out, helping him, saving the day, whatnot. By the way, he did a pretty decent Superman punch on the outside. That looked really good,
Yeah.
but okay. Is he now like Dean Ambrose's manager / valet? It just seems like he's like he's a tag along with Dean Ambrose. I'm not saying that he's going to be used as well, he is being used as a tag along, but I'm not saying like that's just going to be his thing from now on. But yeah, I'm wondering if they. I had said something about I felt like there was going to be some heat between them because he was going to come out, interview, and cause them a match, and then they get mad at each other. Blah blah blah. Go ahead and fight next pay per view. But now that that's all blown up, where? Go ahead.
I think this is a lot better of an angle than having Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns feud. Obviously, it puts Roman Reigns in a bit of a pickle because, in a sense, no, it actually works out really, really well because now you're going to have Roman Reigns going to the Money in the Bank.
So, do you let him get the Money in the Bank? Is this where we start the journey towards him getting the title?
I actually think, do you let Roman Reigns? That's a very interesting question. And the answer is simply, it depends. What if, hypothetically, what if Dean Ambrose is thrown? Like, I really doubt it because they're going to need a match for
Seth Rollins at the next pay-per-view. So Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins.
Roman Reigns in the Money in the Bank. Do you let Roman Reigns win? It's a bit of an. I think he more than likely will win. A better question would be like, who would you like to see win? If you could choose one superstar to win that Money in the Bank, who would you want to take it?
Bray.
I was
Lot
gonna
of
say
questions.
the exact same thing.
Bray Wyatt with the Money in the Bank would be ridiculous.
I
But,
was actually, no joke, when I asked you that question in my head, I was like, Bray.
Yeah, it was
You
just
said
like you notice I didn't even hesitate. It's the obvious answer. Bray, Money in the Bank. He cuts ridiculous promos. The fact that you have the quote unquote Eater of Worlds / the new face of fear with the Money in the Bank at any time, ready to come for the
Unpredictability.
champion. Yeah,
Oh,
that would have been great.
WWE.
Where is Bray, by the way? Can anybody explain to me why Bray isn't around? What's going on?
I don't know. But you know what? I would like to see, personally, what about a new angle if they make a Money in the Bank for an Intercontinental United States Championship? You could go for that title whenever you wanted. I mean, it kind of...
See, I would like for them to build an Intercontinental one. Hell, I wouldn't mind if they had a tag team Money in the Bank. I personally think that Money in the Bank, that pay-per-view, should be completely 100%, I guess with the exception of maybe a title defense. Every match that happens, in my opinion, needs to be a setup for a contract.
Yeah, I mean, you obviously don't have to have Money in the Bank, like as if they got to get a contract, because with the exception of Divas, probably, because you wouldn't really want Divas going up a ladder, but be the same. Definitely a bit of heat leading into Money in the Bank, which is good. And yeah, for everyone watching, I also want to say tomorrow after Raw, make sure you go on the WWE Network. Make sure you watch the Stone Cold podcast because it's got Paul Heyman. And you can never go wrong with Paul Heyman.
Yeah, and I would like to see what they're going to allow Paul to say on Steve Austin's podcast. It seems to be a little more honest the way they do it, but I still figure there's going to be certain no topics that are going to be limited from Paul Heyman. That being said, he's a master word, so he could anything they don't want him to talk about. I'm pretty sure he could sidestep with the best of them. Definitely looking forward to that for sure.
Yeah, no, I agree. So,
But
all in all, pretty impressive pay-per-view.
all right, so
Yeah, I would say that.
what is your grade? What's your grade for this?
If I was to grade it. Are we talking out of 10?
Well, let's do
or
out
are
of
we
numbers.
talking-
Let's not do grades. Let's do what we normally do. What out of 10?
Yeah, all right. So, out of 10, I would be giving Elimination Chamber an 8. I think it would have scored a 10 had it had probably better superstars in the Intercontinental Championship Elimination Chamber and replaced the Neville Bo Dallas match with. I couldn't tell you a match off the top of my head, but just replace that match and it would have got a 10.
Yeah, I mean, if the Neville match, I don't even know if there is a suitable replacement for that. Because again, this is one of the issues though when you build a pay-per-view within 2 weeks, which is why now building the upcoming Money in the Bank in 2 weeks. Notice we already have some matches listed and some things already put into motion. Like we know who's going to be in the contract match already. No,
But you could have. I think we could have found a suitable replacement, knowing that for example, Bray Wyatt didn't appear at this pay-per-view. You had who? Luke Harper didn't appear. Stardust, obviously limited by his character to the pre-show. But if you had Cody Rhodes, for instance, didn't appear. Randy Orton, again, another superstar, didn't appear. They just had to kind of... The thing is, they have no real story with anything.
All right, so my grade, I give this a 7.
Yeah, that's it.
I
think 7.
It had some solid moments. It had some good pieces. I was very disappointed by the way that the Intercontinental match went. I wanted a better Intercontinental Chamber match. I didn't get a better Intercontinental Chamber match, so I was very disappointed in that. The Neville one, of course, that was a disappointment. Everything else I was pretty good with.
Yeah, that's it. That's like literally if you had you don't even have to replace the Neville match. Just put a bit more story behind it.
Honestly, take that match out and just give Cena and Owens a little bit more time to work and flesh it out with add just a little bit more time to the tag team elimination, maybe. I would have liked to see my disappointments, I guess, are just mostly personal stuff. For the tag team, I would have liked to see them let the primetime players go at it a little bit longer with New Day. Let them get some, momentum behind them just beyond being one of the last left. Let's see, the Divas match, it was cool. I don't have a lot of complaints about it, or I don't really have any significant complaints about it, I should say. Of course, Cena and Kevin Owens, that was a showstopper. Just incredible match. Best on the card. Then we move over to the Neville Bo Dallas. They were kind of in a bad position, so I'm not going to be too harsh on them, but it wasn't that compelling. The Intercontinental, of course, like I said, it had some disappointment. Some clever stuff, but overall, it wasn't a memorable Elimination Chamber. And then, of course, the championship match was another really good match. It was hard for them to stand out when Cena and Kevin Owens actually just destroyed the place, but they ended up putting on a great match themselves, and nice little swerve at the end with Dean, and nice to see the feud continuing in a unique way. So, yeah, I'll give it a 7.
Yeah. Well, that basically pretty much wraps up our coverage of the pay-per-view in terms of anything I can think of off the top of my head. Is there anything you want to add?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. So, come check back with us later this week as we talk about Raw and what's going on in WWE. We'll see if they're going to throw some more I have a feeling they're going to introduce some more matches by the end of that show, and we're going to have a full card a day after a pay-per-view for a following pay-per-view. I really feel like that's what's going to happen.
I think you'll be very close to doing that. I also want to mention in terms of things also to look out for. I think we will do a special podcast of its own for the Stone Cold Paul Heyman interview. I think we did one very similar a while ago, the last interview Stone Cold did with Triple H. I think we ended up doing a special Sharpshooter podcast for that. So I think we'll follow suit and probably end up doing one with Paul Heyman, because Paul Heyman is the man. That's it.
Yeah.
Simply put.
Definitely. So that pretty much wraps up things here. Thank you guys for coming, checking out the podcast. Appreciate it. Thanks to everybody who tweeted with me during the matches. Appreciate that. Thanks, Pete, for hanging out with me before. That was fun. We got to do this again. I'm going to figure out a live chat room type scenario, so everybody could come hang out and just talk
Yeah.
for the match. There has to
Definitely.
be a way. There has to be a really good way to do that.
Yeah.
So I might have to figure that out. Flying Modem, sorry you couldn't be here, but you will be here when we talk about Raw and the Steve Austin podcast. Hopefully, just I'll keep in touch and let you know when we go. But that is pretty much it. So, Pete, go ahead and say your goodbyes to the people.
Good night, guys. As always, thanks for watching. Thanks for all the support you've been showing the podcast week in, week out. Very soon, and get ready for the the Money in the Bank. Let's see how quickly they build the card.
Yeah. And just to echo him, thank you again. Appreciate you guys. Money in Bank is 2 weeks. Be expecting us to be speculating on that a lot over the next 2 weeks, and that is it. So, everybody, hope you enjoyed the podcast. Hope you enjoyed the pay-per-view. Please leave your thoughts, your opinions, all of that in the comment section, and we will see you next time on the Sharpshooting Podcast. Peace, everybody.